Hello, gazers. That's Dave Moore.
And that's Dr. Lee Arnott.
And together we are the Problematic Gaze, where each episode we take a piece of pop culture and examine it with problematic eyes, asking ourselves the question, could you get away with that today? And if not, why not? And what does that say about society and culture then and now?
And before we take a deep dive into our chosen topic, we'll take a look at the news events of the year. We'll also look at the TV landscape and the pop charts, just to put our chosen topic and the year into context.
Hooray!
Right, do you know what I forgot to do before we started? So I'll do it now for the benefit of everybody else.
Clap.
Got to clap. Got to synchronise the sound.
Can't get the staff.
And the camera.
Yeah.
As we say in the biz. Just before we do anything else,
Yes.
Alexa, put Snickers on the shopping list.
Why, pray? Why are you making a point about Snickers?
Do you remember Double Decker Gate?
Yes.
A few weeks ago?
Yes.
You've just had the last of the Snickers.
But I left the double decker in the cupboard specifically because of Double Decker Gate. I can't do anything right around here. I can't do anything right.
I'm a little bit annoyed because he ate chocolate just before we were due to go live, which anyone in the biz knows. As a performer, never eat chocolate before you're about to do a audio show. I'm just putting it out there. That's all I'm saying.
So you're saying if the quality's compromised this episode, that's why?
Well, I'm just going to have to do a lot of mastering to enhance your voice. It's just a lot more work for me.
I'm going to put out that I've also got the tail end of a cold, so I'm a little bit snotty, a little bit nasally.
Plus you've had some chocolate.
Crash on.
I love him, really. Yes, let's crash on. Okay, so this is going to be a game of two halves, really, this episode, isn't it?
Why, pray?
Well, because we're going to try and make the first half of it fun. Because the second half is all about...
The War Game. Oh, okay. The War Game was supposed to be broadcast in 1965 as part of the Wednesday Play for Today slot. It was banned by the BBC, I think, the day before it was pulled from the schedule because it was supposed to be too disturbing for the country because it depicts a nuclear attack on the town of Rochester. Rochester, by the time it's finished. Rochester in Kent. There's only one word to describe it, isn't it? Grim.
Doesn't go well.
It does not go well.
Does not go well. If anyone's seen our episode on Threads, if you're people of a certain age like we are, Threads was running through our childhood as this grim, post-apocalyptic nightmare film. And this is a precursor to that, came out 20 years earlier. And no wonder it was. They got cold feet about it because if you've seen Threads, it's basically the black and white 60s version.
Yes, yeah. There are some differences, but it's basically nuclear apocalypse 1960s style.
Yes.
And it's grim. Now, annoyingly, it was on iPlayer, wasn't it? But they've taken it down. But if you go on YouTube, there are plenty of clips which will give you a flavour of the War Game and its absolute grimness. So, yeah, first half, light. Second half, prepare yourselves, everybody.
Pour yourself a stiff drink.
Yes.
Wear on the tea because obviously... it's still quite early.
It is quite early.
Yeah.
And have you got any relationship to the War Game, Dave?
I'd never heard of it.
Right.
Never heard of it at all until you highlighted it and said, let's do this for our podcast. So no.
Right, because I'd seen it, because I'd heard of it when I think Threads was repeated in 1985, and it was the first time it had been shown on British TV. And I remember watching it in a typical, I think I was 11 or 12, going, oh, it's not as good as Threads. Threads is just so nihilistic and apocalyptic, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this black and white, and obviously it didn't have the special effects. Watching it now, okay, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Strap in, everybody.
Yeah, strap in. So, 1965,
Yes.
we rarely throw the TeleTARDIS this far back.
Yeah, we do.
Do we? I think the last time we did it was it for Victim?
The Sex Olympics.
The year of the Sex Olympics as well, which are two of our audio podcasts for our YouTube listeners. So please go back and listen to our back catalogue.
Yes.
On Threads,
Yeah.
the year of the Sex Olympics, and on Victim. So yeah, and obviously this is well before we were born.
Well before
It
we
was
were
our parents
born.
and grandparents' era.
Yes.
So let's go to the news desk and find out what was going on mid-60s.
Let's do it.
Here we are at the news desk.
That walk seems to be getting easier.
It does.
Actually.
It does.
Seems to be getting a bit
I think
smaller
they've moved
this
the news
week.
desk closer to the main desk. So that's good.
Thankfully. News events of 1965. Let's kick off, Dave.
So, quite a huge one, actually. On the 24th of January, Sir Winston Churchill dies, aged 90, at his home in London. And on the 30th of January, thousands attend a state funeral in London. During the 3 days of lying in state, 321,000 people filed past his body in Westminster Hall. I wonder if Holly and Phil were there.
Probably pushing in.
Yeah, and the funeral procession travels from Westminster Hall to the service at St Paul's Cathedral, attended by Queen Elizabeth II, Prime Minister Harold Wilson, and representatives of 112 countries.
Huge event, yeah.
Huge.
Event.
I mean, it was a huge, significant figure, whatever opinion you have about
Yes,
Winston Churchill.
absolutely. You can't deny his impact.
Yes, you can't deny his impact. So, yes.
Gosh. It was so huge that the BBC schedule was pushed around that day.
Was
Doctor Who
it?
was pushed off.
Well, TV is kind of still in its infancy at this point, isn't it?
Absolutely it is. A lighter story. On the 11th of March, Goldie, who is a London Zoo golden eagle, is recaptured after 13 days of freedom. He's been basically flying around London, entertaining everybody. He spent most of the time in Regent's Park, which is next to the zoo, but he's also been up to Camden Town, doing a bit of shopping, Tottenham Court Road, Euston. His escape does enthrall the British public. Everybody's just like, come on, Goldie, you know. Thousands of people gather in Regent's Park to watch him trying to be caught by his keepers. Huge traffic jams as people watch, you know, driving past the park. And yeah, he's recaptured on the 11th of March. I did read that he does escape a month later again. It's like
Goldie. He was probably annoyed at his name, his unoriginal name.
Yeah. And he lives to 1985. As long as, and he's caught because I think he tried to kidnap a terrier. He's killed a duck already, and then he's basically trying to lift this woman's dog off, goes off with this woman's dog, and that's when they catch him.
Do you know what? If that happened these days, they'd have police marksmen out and they'd have just shot him.
Oh, bless him.
Poor Goldie. He's just doing what comes naturally to eagles, really.
And now they have, I think it's kestrels, isn't it, are living around Trafalgar Square and to stop the pigeons.
Yes.
To get all the pigeons away. So,
Yes.
yeah.
When I was a director, often pigeons would come into the studio. So they'd bring the kestrel in or the bird of prey in to chase the pigeons off.
Right.
Because obviously you can't have wings flapping in the middle of a take.
No,
if you're
not
kind
so.
of in a
Unless
kitchen.
you're filming the birds.
Yes, exactly. So, well done, Goldie.
Well done, Goldie.
Yeah. Okay, so on the 3rd of May, Asda is formed and opens its first supermarket in Castleford, Yorkshire.
Well, there we go.
Asda Price. Yeah.
Tapping me up. I don't want to fall off the chair. On the 17th of June, it's the London premiere of Frank Marcus's farce, The Killing of Sister George, at the Duke of York Theatre. It's one of the first mainstream British plays to feature lesbian characters. Beryl Reid will play the title role. She'll, of course, reprise the role in the film version of it. Just a little snapshot of how mores and tastes are becoming more liberal at this point.
Yeah, we just had Victim a little while before this, haven't
5
we?
years before this.
Yeah, homosexuality is coming to the fore a little bit more. Obviously, still a long way to go, but the kind of little tiptoes, beginnings of it, you know, becoming something a little bit more socially acceptable.
Yes.
The pop culture starting entering into that foray, daring to, risking. So, on the 15th of October, the Post Office Tower opens in London, an icon of the London skyline to this day.
Yeah, I love that building.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
It's great.
Of course, there's a Doctor Who story about it the year later.
Yes,
taking
I remember
over people's
that.
minds.
Yes. Do you remember truck going past? Sorry, I'm a professional. I'm always listening out for the technicals as well as entertaining the nation. Do you remember when Noel Edmonds broadcast on Christmas Day from the top of the TV tower?
I think so.
Yes, and there used to be a restaurant up there, didn't there?
That's right.
I would love to have gone up there.
Yeah, it revolved very slowly. So you get the whole panorama as you're having your... That sounds great. I did know somebody who went up there once back in the day and said it was fabulous.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Some grim news, also the 15th of October. 150 police officers are drafted in to search Saddleworth Moor for the bodies of up to 11 missing people, mostly children or teenagers, who are believed to be buried there. We know what this is about, don't we? The suspect in the murders is Ian Brady, who's charged with the murder of 17-year-old Edward Evans 8 days previously. His 23-year-old girlfriend, Myra Hindley, has also since been charged with the murder after being arrested on the 11th of October. The day after, on the 12th, police find a girl's body on Saddleworth Moor, identified on the 13th of that as 10-year-old Leslie Ann Downey, who disappeared on Boxing Day the previous year from a fairground in the Ancoats area of Manchester. So Hindley and Brady, Moor's murders, this is absolutely the peak of it, isn't it?
I mean, this is just still very fresh. 7 days earlier, he's been arrested.
Yeah.
Obviously gripped the nation, but terrible, terrible crimes against children.
Horrible.
Obviously. I just last week watched a drama on it. It's on YouTube, starring Maxine Peake.
Oh, yes.
Yes, it was about 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago it came out.
Yeah.
And that's just, obviously, it paints the picture of life in a northern town at that particular point in, mid-60s. Very kind of bleak outlook and everything. But yeah, anyway, let's move on from that. Okay, so on the 8th of November, there's two very important pieces of legislation come into effect. And the first is the abolition of the death penalty in the Murder Act, which suspends capital punishment for murder in England, Scotland and Wales for 5 years in the first instance. And then it replaces it with a mandatory sentence of life imprisonment. Also, on the same day, the Race Relations Act makes it a civil offence to discriminate in serving people in places of public resort on the grounds of colour, race, ethnicity or nationality, and creates the offence of incitement to racial hatred. So been going on in the 60s, I can't really understand why some people have a problem remembering that when they're sending out tweets or standing outside immigrant hostels, hotels.
And by the mid-60s, race has become one of the big political hot potatoes that it hadn't been 5 years earlier. And this particular act is a kind of offset because the government has now decided to introduce strict limits on immigration into Britain. After the war, the official line is that anybody who's part of the Commonwealth is allowed to come and live here. But, this has been growing steadily resisted, and then you start to get things like the Notting Hill riots in 1958.
When was the Rivers of Blood speech?
That's a bit later than this, but this is all part and parcel of the same kind of. It's very much race is now part of the political zeitgeist in a way that it wasn't 5 or 6 years before, and continues to be so, unfortunately. But this is where you can start to trace these arguments about race and immigration right here. Another sign that society is changing: on the 13th of November, the word "fuck" is spoken for the first time on British TV. Clutch your pearls, Dave, clutch your pearls. By the theatre critic Kenneth Tynan, and the world carries on turning regardless.
Absolutely. These days you can't move for fuck.
You can't move for fuck. Fuckity fuck. Fuck. Fuck.
Okay, so also this year, in fashion news, Mary Quant introduces the miniskirt from her shop Bazaar on the King's Road in Chelsea, London. So this is the start of the miniskirt.
The miniskirt. I think we talked previously about how if a woman had worn a miniskirt, it would have signified that she was playing a juvenile role, because skirts above the knee were only worn by little girls. So for women to start wearing them, and the first woman to wear one on British TV, Diana Rigg as Emma Peel, who insists each week on having her hemlines took up a bit higher, because at the beginning they're like, no, it's got to be below the knee. She's like, no, I need to have it a bit higher. But yeah, huge change.
Yes.
This is all part of this sense that there's newfound freedoms for young people that there hasn't been generations before.
Obviously, for some people, signifying the downfall of Western civilization as we know it.
Yes, absolutely. Fucking the miniskirt. Oh my God, we're all on. We're done. Sodom and Gomorrah, here we come. Yeah.
Do you know, if I had a real teletardis, I think I'd like to go back to the King's Road in Chelsea, 1965, just to see what was going on. This is the start of the free love and all that kind of vibe.
Yeah. And also that clash of culture which you talked about in our episode on Alf Garnett.
Yes, Till Death Us Do Part.
Till Death Us Do Part, another one we did in the 60s, which is a really interesting intersection of the different generations going on. But absolutely to go back and walk down the road going, hi everybody, sex is fun.
Yes. Absolutely fabulous.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on to the TV landscape.
Let's have a look at the TV landscape, because in 1965, the UK's got two TV channels, basically. BBC One, which was renamed BBC One in 1964. Before that, it was BBC Television Service. And ITV, which was launched in 1955. BBC Two's been launched the year before, but it's niche, it's highbrow, it's only in the London area and certain other areas. So it's basically the two main channels, BBC One and ITV.
Right.
Yes.
Is it me?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Without Notes, political satire and social commentary grows with shows like That Was the Week That Was, and they're starting to reflect the changing social norms and more liberal attitudes.
Yeah. You cannot overemphasise the importance of shows like That Was the Week That Was, because satire is a new thing, and the idea of questioning the establishment and poking fun at the establishment and taking the piss out of government figures is all part of this social changes which are taking place. It only runs for 2 seasons.
Right.
It is controversial, but really impactful.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've never had before people taking the piss out of the Prime Minister, you know, because the establishment has held such sway over everything that...
And being allowed to,
Yeah.
if you kind of want to come full circle to what's happening now, especially in America, and here to a certain extent as well.
Look at what happened to Mock the Week in this country.
Yeah.
You know, that was taken off air because it used to take the piss out of the government. I mean, come on.
Yes.
Doctor Who... Hello. It's in its first imperial phase at the moment, especially with a 3-month-long Dalek story. 3 months, 12 bloody weeks of Daleks. They've already had 6 weeks of Daleks earlier in the year, and then they've got 12 weeks because Dalek mania, like Beatlemania, are the 2 big manias of the 60s, and the Daleks are fucking everywhere. They're huge. They've made the show. You can go to the cinema to watch them in colour, and if you look at any of the press for the first Doctor Who and the Daleks movie, Doctor Who and the writing is written in tiny writing. It's fucking Daleks, you know, and on the posters it's the Daleks in colour, you know. There's a great shot of John Lennon and Cynthia Lennon at the Cannes Film Festival that year, sitting with 2 fags on the go with the Dalek behind them, looking really kind of...
That's fun.
They appear in shows like The Avengers. Mrs. Peel works in a shop and she's putting toy Daleks up on a shelf, you know. So
such a cultural phenomenon.
They get everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah,
Do you remember Davros?
Of course. Davros, evil genius, creator of the Daleks.
I'm speaking to Doctor Who's biggest fan here. Can I show you something?
Yeah.
Okay, it's my birthday recently.
Yes,
I'm not revealing my date of birth online.
25.
But 25 again. My wonderful husband, my half, bought me something for my birthday. Little trinket. It is, for YouTube viewers, you can see this, but for our audio listeners, it is a little box, little Perspex box with a little icon, a little thing in it, and it's a section of screen-used Davros.
Wow.
So it's a section of Davros's costume.
It's his costume.
Yes.
Gosh. Can I take it out of the box?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm just going to say, I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
You can see that.
It's the tiniest little thing. It's
But
the
do you
tiny
know what?
little
As the
fragment.
actor,
Yeah.
he played Davros. He used to smoke all the time, and I bet this stinks of Benson Hedges. I could smell it. So that's so cute. That's so cool. It's like a little Davros bit of poo, though, doesn't it?
It does look like a bit of Davros poo.
But that must be some of his leather jerkin.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So there you go.
Wow.
So the Daleks' legacy lives
Dalek's
on
legacy lives on.
in PG Towers.
PG Towers.
There we go. Okay, so that's enough of that. Okay, so then we go on to the Wednesday play, which began on BBC One. It's a socially engaged drama anthology exploring hard-hitting contemporary issues. Now, the War Game, which we're going to be looking at in depth.
Epitome of hard-hitting contemporary issues.
Yes. Would have been broadcast in this strand of the Wednesday play if they hadn't pulled it at the last minute.
And we will discover why they did shortly. This is the year that Emma Peel joins the Avengers. Portrayed by Diana Rigg, her arrival marks a shift in tone for the series, and it starts to combine style, intellect, martial arts, leans more heavily into the science fiction element. It's gone away from the spy, kind of straight spy tradition of which James Bond has been the forerunner in the early 60s, and goes more into fantasy. The character becomes a feminist icon and an early model of the action heroine.
Wow.
We may be coming back to Emma Peel at some point.
We may be coming back to Emma Peel and the Avengers at a later date. Just need to hammer down dates with somebody, with a couple of people. Okay, let's move on because we're boring our gazers now. Okay, so on ITV, Coronation Street led ITV's dominance in soaps, and the channel continued providing popular game shows, dramas and family entertainment. So TV is now a central household fixture, beginning to influence fashion, gender roles and youth culture.
Yeah. And also affects the way we start to put our living rooms, the way the actual way we live. We start to focus our living rooms on a little box in the corner. You know,
well, big box in the corner of those boxes. Remember, we watched The Craze last night, didn't we?
Yes.
From the 80s with the Kemp brothers.
Yeah.
And they just got a new TV for the first time. Didn't even know. They thought they had to wait for it to get dark, for it to come on.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff people did.
Yeah, but it was a massive box, like massive proper kind of chest of drawers affair.
Yeah, but that's because they had money then, you see. For most people, their screen would be like that big.
Yeah.
Snowy pictures, you know, but incredible.
Yeah.
well, that was the year and the year in TV. That was fun. Should we have a look at the top 20 music charts for the week this was being broadcast? So this is the week of the 5th of August, 1965. Confidence level is very low on this
Well,
one.
let's see, because
Unless you've
there's
got
a
some
lot.
classics.
Yeah, there's a lot of 60s that kind of stand the test of time, don't they?
Yes.
And also, this is going to give us a really nice taste of just the environment at the time.
Well, let's do it.
Okay, number 20, In the Thoughts of You, Billy Fury. I used to come into West Hampstead from Borehamwood and Elstree a lot in my misspent early career. And just across the way, just the entrance to West Hampstead Tube Station, there's a little passageway called Billy Fury Way.
Really?
A big mural of Billy Fury.
Really?
It was big, wasn't he, Billy Fury?
yeah.
Proper sex symbol.
Yeah. Was he like British Elvis, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Shaking Stevens. Sorry to interrupt.
Well, not wrong, though, to be fair.
Come on, the pod, Shaky. Come on, Shaky. You know you want to.
We're going to take a walk in the Black Forest with Horst Jankowski at number 19.
Schwarzwald.
Indeed.
That's the only word I know in German.
Yeah, I don't think we will be going the Black Forest, will we?
No. Okay, number 18, Everyone's Gone to the Moon by, oh God, here we go again.
There's got to be one, hasn't there?
There's got to be one.
Got to be one convicted sex offender in the charts or on some piece of media when we look back in time. And here we are. Who is it, Dave?
Number 18, Everyone's Gone to the Moon, Jonathan King.
Okay, let's just
gloss over it. We haven't got time for sex offenders today.
Number 17 is Gene Pitney with Looking Through the Eyes of Love.
Gene Pitney, very famous at the time. See? Number 16, To Know You Is to Love You, Peter and Gordon.
Right. That's a Madonna line you were singing?
Yes,
though,
it
wasn't
was,
Yeah,
yes.
fine.
But yeah, I don't know who Peter and Gordon were.
No, I don't either.
Yeah.
Number 15 is Summer Nights, Marianne Faithfull. I suspect not Summer Nights, Danny and Sandy Summer Nights,
No.
but a different Summer Nights. But I like a bit of Marianne.
Talking of Elvis, Crying in the Chapel, Elvis Presley at number 14.
Number 13, Tom Jones with These Hands. I know what Tom's hands could do to me, darling.
Yes. Listen and watch our It's a Knockout episode. It's a Royal Knockout if you want to get a further understanding of what Tom Jones does to Dr. Lee sexually. Okay, number 12. He's Got No Love by The Searchers. Don't know that one.
No, the Searchers came to our school disco one year because one of the Searchers' daughters was in our sixth form. Did a little gig. They sang Needles and Pins. That was a big hit.
Yes.
It was the 80s, so it didn't seem that far away. Number 11, Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs with Woolly Bully.
We know that one.
Do we?
Woolly bully, woolly bully.
Okay.
So I haven't just had a stroke, don't
I thought
worry.
it was a bullseye crossover, but there we go.
Okay, number 10, I'm Alive by the Hollies.
Okay. Number 9, Dusty. Come on. Dusty's there in the middle of nowhere. Great song. We know that one.
Okay, number 8, There But For the Fortune, Joan Baez. Obviously, folk singer of the time.
Yes,
Spoke
yeah.
to the people.
Yes, yeah. Number 7, Catch Us If You Can, the Dave Clark 5.
Now, I'm knowing a lot of these people,
Yes,
but I'm
but
not
not the
exactly knowing the
songs.
songs.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
okay. So, number 6, it's the Yardbirds with Heart Full of Soul.
Number 5 is Ivy League with Tossing and Turning.
Okay, fair enough. Let's move on. So, number 4, it's the Animals. We've got to get out of this place.
No, we know that
That's
one.
the one we know.
Yeah, we know that one. Yeah.
That
Because of our
epitomises
fan.
the 60s, doesn't it? That one.
Does it?
Yeah. I
Okay.
think so. To the sound.
Right.
The 60s sound.
Number 3 is The Fortunes with You've Got Your Troubles. Not wrong.
Not wrong. We've got our troubles, haven't we? Number 2, Mr. Tambourine Man, The Birds.
We know that one. Come on.
Yeah.
Come
okay.
on.
Number one. Okay, this is either going to fall flat as a fart or it's going to be a stone cold banger. What do you think?
I think it's going to be flat as a fart. Let's have a look. Oh, well, I mean, it's a big one, isn't it?
It's a big one.
It's a big one. It's
a
the
big one.
Beatles. Whatever happened to them? With Help. You know, I'm not as good as the Bananarama version.
No, obviously not.
You
But they
know.
tried their best.
They
didn't
tried.
they?
Yeah, they tried.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, do you need help?
that's me. Well, you know, as predicted,
Yes, a
knew the
mixed
grapes,
bag.
mixed bag. Sex offender, tick.
Tick.
Oh, couple of classics, tick.
And the Beatles with Help.
Yes.
Yes. You
Yeah.
can't get better than that, really, for the 60s.
You can't
can
get
you?
better than that.
Yeah.
No. Good.
Okay, gird your loins, gazers.
Time to get
because
really depressed
It's time.
to play
The war game.
Would you like to give us a bit of information about the war game, Dave?
I will. The War Game is a 1966 British pseudo-documentary film that depicts nuclear war and its aftermath. It was written, directed and produced by Peter Watkins for the BBC, and it caused dismay within the BBC and within government, and was withdrawn from the provisional screening date of the 6th of October 1965. The corporation said that the effects of the film had been judged by the BBC to be too horrifying for the medium of broadcasting. It will, however, be shown to invited audiences. So the film premiered at the National Film Theatre in London on the 13th of April 1966, where it ran until the 3rd of May. It was then shown abroad at several film festivals, including Venice, where it won the special prize, and it also won the Academy Award for the Best Documentary Feature in 1967. So then the film was eventually televised in Great Britain on the 31st of July 1985, during the week before the 40th anniversary of the Hiroshima bombing and a day before a repeat screening of Threads.
Gosh.
So that's the environment that the War Games came out in.
It's interesting, actually, before I do the synopsis, actually, because it's the anniversary of the Hiroshima bombings just last week.
Yes,
or the
it
week
was.
before, wasn't it?
Yes, the 80th anniversary.
Yes, and it seems like the lessons from that have just completely gone, haven't they? They don't have the same resonance as they did in 1985
No.
at all. I told you it's going to get grim. It's going to get grimmer. Here's a synopsis of what happens in The War Game. So, as you say, it's a pseudo-documentary account of a nuclear attack on Britain, shot in a cinema verite style. It begins with escalating Cold War tensions and the possibility of nuclear conflict, then methodically illustrates what would happen if a warhead struck the industrial town of Rochester in Kent. The film mixes dramatised sequences of ordinary citizens and officials with clinical narration, lending it an unsettling sense of realism. Watkins depicts firestorms, food shortages, mass casualties, and the collapse of social order with unflinching detail. With its stark portrayal of both immediate devastation, burns, blindness, radiation sickness, and the slower unravelling of society through famine, disease, and authoritarian control, it really is the end of the world as we know it, isn't it?
Oh my goodness. So before we go any further, I think maybe we should just have a little chat about the environment and why this was made at this time.
Yes. Well, I mean, the heightened Cold War tensions are increasing all the time. There's increasing fear and paranoia about nuclear technology, its effects. America's doing nuclear tests in the Pacific. I think Russia's doing nuclear tests somewhere. Britain, France are doing nuclear tests. Nuclear is the big thing in the 1950s and through the 1960s.
Yeah.
In 1958, the British government heightens, there's a thing called the Civil Defence Corps, which is a volunteer organisation that's created in 1949. And in 1958, in response to the rising nuclear tensions throughout the world, they start to up their rehearsals and training. So we've had Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962, which has felt like the world's gone to the brink of nuclear
Well, exactly.
war.
I mean, that was a real time of real heightened fear across the world, wasn't it? Where it came really, really close. If it wasn't for, well, Kennedy was centred around that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And the diplomacy that was involved in that with his Russian counterparts.
Yeah.
It could have all happened then.
Absolutely. And in 1965, we've got CND in this country and the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, which, although it's kind of like, it's a middle-class grassroots organisation, but it still gets a lot of media attention and is a force at this point. So nuclear is a thing on everybody's lips in a way that it won't be again until the mid-80s when you get the real threat of nuclear conflagration with Reagan at this point, warmongering in America. So this is why we've got this very heightened state of unease and fear around anything nuclear at this point in the mid-60s in Britain. And not just in Britain, obviously. And also, as this film rightly points out, because of our size as a nation, we've got more potential targets per acre than any other country in the world. We've got American missiles and American bases in Britain. Our industrial towns are very close to each other. I was struck by the map it shows of Britain. And first of all, this map, it shows how many places are targets, and it's full of black dots.
Yeah.
Then it shows industrial towns. And down the middle of the country, it's all these industrial, all just like next to each other, because we're small. Basically, we're small, and so we're just target.
I mean, I remember as a kid driving outside of Scarborough towards Goathland, where Heartbeat was set,
right,
kind of like Whitby, Scarborough area. There's a place called Fylingdales, which is the 3 golf balls, which is basically the early warning system for this. So that naturally would be one of their first targets.
Absolutely. I remember I've seen Fylingdales as well. You go past it, and we had an RAF base, Catterick, not far from where I am. That's going to be a target. Obviously, we've got Newcastle, which was shipbuilding and stuff at that point. Yeah. Although it does say the few areas which would be safe were Wales, the Lake District, and Northumberland. So I'll be okay, actually.
Yeah.
Man will be all right, man.
We'll be all right, man. Yeah. What really struck me, it's like you say, it's all filmed in kind of like a cinema verite style, isn't it? It uses real people, kind of no actors. The director wanted this kind of realistic feel. Obviously, they're kind of given scripts and things. But the first part of the film, what it does is interviews people on the street about nuclear war and their knowledge of what that entails. And a lot of them, A, don't think it's going to happen, but B, don't realise the full extent of what would happen if there was a nuclear war. Yeah. So it all starts off very innocently, doesn't it? And it kind of depicts these people on the street, and it's very good at depicting just everyday life, from people who live on terrace houses in towns to people who live in the countryside, all very ignorant of what's going on around them. And they ask them about, do you know what's going on abroad? And basically they invent this scenario where there's Americans in Vietnam and the Chinese are kind of trying to enter Vietnam, so there's a kind of a conflict there.
And it's Berlin as well, but
so
the noise is off, aren't they?
Yeah, so as a response to kind of like the aggressions that America are showing China, Russia is getting busy with it, saying, okay, so if you continue to escalate that, then we're going to come and invade West Berlin, because obviously the Russians had East Germany at the time and East Berlin. So there's that conflict about to kick off as well. So we jump between what's happening. Oh, sorry. Lots of dog action going on outside. It's all kicking off. It's a turf war going on. So we can get the military conflict side of it juxtaposed with the ignorance of the British people. I mean, ignorance is a very strong word, but it's just not featuring on their radar, so to speak, is it?
It's like Threads. It reminds me of Threads.
Yes.
We touch upon these conflicts which are happening elsewhere, but people are just going about their everyday lives and doing their business, aren't they, as usual? The sense of noise is off and things are increasing and getting more and more tense.
Yeah.
It really struck me that this was a film about nuclear war that was made after Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and based itself on the limited effects of one nuclear missile, say, and very much felt like a response in the shadow of World War II. So we get women and children evacuated from big cities like in World War II. Yeah. There is the sense that if there's a nuclear war in the war game, then there will be a society and civilization.
Yeah, there'll be safer areas.
Yes.
Yeah. So as the tensions escalate abroad, the government ceases government controls and puts the regions in charge of themselves, so to speak. So the authority goes to the local government. So what happens first, like you say, is the evacuation of women, of pregnant women and of children to these far out regions. But as you say, these are the people who were kind of, come out of the tail end of the World War, where this happened before.
This is what we do in wartime.
This is what we do.
Yeah. It's always really interesting that the woman they chose to focus on was a woman of colour. Yeah. I think she was an Indian lady. Busloads of evacuees from wherever are taken to Rochester, and one says, are they coloured?
Yes.
So there's racial prejudice. The narration says there's still racial prejudice and there's still a shortage of housing, which shows that that's the situation that was in Britain even before this conflict kicks off.
And so the woman of colour on the bus is looked down on by the rest of the women, isn't it? And I just thought, what they're trying to say here is that these racial tensions exist, but once the bombs all drop,
absolutely,
that is just going to be such an insignificant thing, isn't it, compared to all the rest of the shit they're going to have to deal with. That it just kind of highlights the futility of this racism that's embedded already in British culture.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we get the acquisition of houses in the towns. The men that are left behind are basically told, you're going to have to billet soldiers. And the consequence of not doing that or resisting that is you're going to get prosecuted or imprisoned for it. So already there's this sense of this militarisation of the city centres, which again seems quite futile, really.
Absolutely. It's going to make any difference at all when it kicks off. We introduced British Civil Defence Corps, and they're handing out leaflets, the kind of forerunner of those protect and survive leaflets, which again are as much used as a sponge leg. If you've got a room, put a door up against the wall, put some cushions on it, sandbags, you'll be fine. But as it rightly points out, there's a real disparity between who can afford this stuff and who can't.
Well, exactly. Already there's kind of like black markets taking off. The inflation on the prices of the shelter materials and things just goes astronomical, doesn't it? So there's even still here profiteering going on.
Yeah.
From the fear of war.
Yes.
Yeah. And then there's the issue of emergency ID and ration cards.
Yeah.
As though once these bombs drop, we're going to limit the food.
Yeah.
So here's your ration cards that you have to go and get, go to the shop and get them ticked off and everything.
Yes. I mean, later on when they describe the kind of food they're going to be eating. So, I mean, we'll get to that in a second. So then we meet a GP doing his rounds, don't we? The doctor. And then... and it says... The narration said, this is how the last 2 minutes of peace in Britain could look.
Yes.
And then all fucking hell kicks off, basically.
Yes.
The
Russians have attacked West Berlin, and from that moment on, the bombs come.
Yeah.
The mutually assured destruction begins.
Yeah, and it's horrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basic, the way it's done.
But actually, even for the time, I thought it was extremely well shot.
It is, totally. Yeah. Absolutely. And it's so effective. It hasn't got any of the explosions of threads. We don't see Woolworths being blown up, for example, but it's just stark and it's so effective and horrible. And
well, first you get the flash, don't you? So you get the flash blindness.
Yeah, and then there's the shot of those two kids screaming, and the narration just says basically their upturned eyeballs have been melted by the heat flash, just like that. It's like, what? Then they've got third-degree burns. Then there's the shock wave. And this is a bomb that's gone off 40 miles away, it says. So it's just horrible.
Yeah.
Screen whites out, doesn't it? At one point.
Absolutely.
There's like things shaking and stuff. I mean, that's all a little bit basic, but it's just...
Yeah, I think it's the way, obviously, the handheld style and the quick editing, which lends to the urgency of the situation of what's going on. Yeah. But it's like they're all fucked.
Yeah.
Just everyone's fucked, which, if anyone's got any sort of kind of idea about surviving a nuclear war, probably urge against it, really.
Yeah.
Get yourself a bottle of whiskey, neck it, and stand right underneath it and go, here we go.
Yeah.
What really got me was these firestorms. Now, similar to what they say happened in Hamburg, the Hamburg bombing, where they just carpet bombed it. Just the whole place just erupts in this massive fire. So after the initial flash and the initial destruction of buildings, huge loss of life. They estimate up to 2 million Europeans are killed or injured immediately.
Wow. Rochester is now 2 square miles of fire.
It's just fire everywhere.
So with the wind of the firestorm, the oxygen gets sucked out, and then you just see images of people just being suffocated, don't you? It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's so grim.
Yeah.
I was just shocked at how unflinching it was in its grimness of it.
Apparently, a lot of it shot on army barracks.
Right.
Filming this in the middle of a town somewhere.
You couldn't.
No. So then we get that. I thought it was really well filmed. People are told to keep your bank saving books.
Yeah. Again, this is the overhang of World War II. This is what they thought a nuclear war would look like, that there'd still be some kind of essence of society afterwards, that you'd still have your ID papers and your bank books. I mean... It's naive, isn't it?
Well, it is
I wish I would say it
naive,
was charming, but it's not. It's
No,
just
but I
horrible.
mean, it is what people would estimate. I wonder how much of that was the government, with the imminent threat of war looming, their way of kind of reassuring people that don't worry.
Yeah.
You know, keep hold of your bank books, build these shelters. We'll get through this kind of vibe, rather than saying you're all fucked.
Yes,
panic.
absolutely.
So it's just an empty gestures, but a way of kind of pacifying
Yes.
the public.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. I'm sure that protecting survive was as well, you know. Oh, if there's a nuclear war, lie in a ditch.
Yeah.
You know, you've got a chance of survival, you know. Yeah, and then society just collapses, doesn't it? The whole thing just collapses. There's what he does then, he contrasts modern, like, vox pops with people, with opinions and stuff about what would happen afterwards, with images of just, like, people burnt, and just the makeup is
Makeup's great.
astonishing. It's horrific. And then we talk about the fact that the hospitals have to triage patients, with the worst patients just being taken outside and shot by the police, as happened in Dresden.
There's a special room that they're put in, isn't there?
Yeah.
And it's just implied that if you get put in this room, then that's just a little stopgap until you get taken out and everything.
It just all goes to tits, doesn't it?
It really does. And then obviously society breaks down. There's food shortages. The food is kind of saved for the people who are trying to maintain law and order. So the police, basically, if you get caught entering into one of these food, trying to steal food, you're shot on the spot.
But did you see the meal they had as well?
Yeah.
They thought they were going to be providing people with braised steak, sprouts, mashed potatoes, apple pie and custard. It was like in a little box, wasn't it?
There was a little box of just dented tins that was just left out on the street, and it was just a free-for-all of people trying to get all this food. But then it ultimately led to the public rioting and reacting and killing police and breaking into these food stores.
There was one moment which didn't make me chuckle, because by this stage I was like in the despair of that. But at the hunger riots, the ladies all looked quite scrubbed, I thought, at the point. They had their two-piece suits on, their little kitten heels, and they're standing with the handbags like that. I thought that this is clearly the beginning of the day shooting at this bit.
What makes this even more stark was the naturalistic acting. And I feel like if this had been broadcast on terrestrial television at the time before being pulled, it was a real stark contrast to what was on telly at the time, if you think, you know, because her acting wasn't naturalistic on TV at this point. It was slightly heartened, stagey, clipped RP kind of voices. Apart from Coronation Street, obviously, which came, well, that kind of broke the mould, didn't it, with the northern voices and things. But this naturalistic acting, I think, is what's the most shocking about it. There's no kind of performative aspect to this at all, which is what the public were used to. But I thought it raised a really interesting point about human nature in general, about retaliation. That, you know, with this whole mutually assured destruction, like if you throw all these bombs over at us, then you're going to get it as well. And that's basically what kind of keeps the status quo, isn't it? The fact that if you attack a country, you're going to get attacked back. So what's the point at the end of the day? But I thought it was, it really made me think about retaliation in general, about if something happens to you, your human instinct is to do it back. Whether it's in nuclear war, whether it's in a fight, or what. Planning permission on houses.
Suddenly taking your last Snickers bar, maybe.
Exactly. Well, my human instinct was to retaliate there and publicly humiliate you. That was just because it was funny. It wasn't any kind of aggression there at all.
Not the face, David, not the face.
No, exactly.
The narration tells us this might happen before the year 1980. Again, which kind of hints at that. This felt like it was a pressing matter. This could really happen. And the question is, would the survivors envy the dead?
Yes. I've put that in quotes.
Yes, absolutely.
There was one little image when we were talking about that. There was one image of a wedding ring bucket.
That's right. Which
was a bucket just full of wedding rings of the dead, which they said, well, we're hoping that we can, from the inscriptions on the rings, identify who's died. But I would imagine that would become sort of kind of collateral later on.
Absolutely. What could you use it for? You can't eat gold, can you?
Exactly. And just want to talk about the kiddies, the kids, because this programme really hammered home the grim reality of what a nuclear war would be. But at the end of it, to hammer home their point, make people think they had these shots of these kids, didn't they? There's all these orphans in the orphanage. There was one who just slow, hideous death from leukemia.
Yes.
And the narrator asked these kids, what are your hopes for the future? What do you want to be when you grow up? And it just kind of camera panned across the line, and they just said, I don't want to be anything. It was just like there was just no hope, no aspiration,
no, God, no,
just this malaise of these kids. It was heart-wrenching,
heartbreaking,
wasn't it?
yeah. And you talk about the hope at the end. It asks the question: is there hope in this?
Yeah.
But then goes on to say the world's stockpile of thermonuclear weapons has almost doubled in 20 years, and the stockpile is still steadily growing. So is there hope? No. Spoiler alert. There isn't.
And so ends our story for today. We hope you enjoyed.
It was a tough watch.
It was such a tough watch, and you know what? It sent me down this little nihilistic, if that's the right word, path of looking at YouTube videos of what would happen in the event of a nuclear war.
Yeah. Problematic. Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
But in the sense that, fucking hell, if problematic means you get a lesson of what actually the shit is going to be when it hits the fan, then
And also, not to make you despair anymore, but the rise of AI, that would be really one good way of destroying the world. When the machines took over and decided there was a machine in another country that needed taking out.
Right. Be nice to Alexa.
Yeah.
That's the moral of that story.
You don't really need a big red button anymore. All you need is a little computer just to have a tiny little glitch.
Just going to get a bottle of whiskey.
So he's going to drink.
Yeah, come on, let's do
Let's
it.
just do
Let's
it.
do it.
All right then, cheer us up.
Well, you hope you enjoyed that, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for tuning in. What are we going to be talking about next week?
Next week, we're
Say
going...
it's something fun.
Say something fun. It's going to be something fun. Right. I think. We're taking the Teletordis. We're taking the Teletardis forward in time to 2007 as we open The Secret Diary of a Call Girl.
Oh, I'm already intrigued.
Belle de Jour.
Belle de Jour.
Yeah. What secrets does she have? We'll find out next week, won't we?
Billy Piper.
Yeah.
Fan favourite.
Yes. So look forward to that.
From what year is that, did you say?
2007.
2007.
So in the meanwhile, like and subscribe. Follow us on our socials at Podcast Gaze on TikTok and Instagram. Send us an email. The email address is...
theproblematicgaze@gmail.com.
We love hearing from you.
We do. Please send us any thoughts you have. If you want to make suggestions about future topics, please do. So contact us via direct message on TikTok, Instagram, email, or what else we got? Oh, YouTube.
YouTube. Leave a comment.
YouTube.
You'll be able to watch
and
us.
Please spread the word of the Problematic Gaze, because we are an independent podcast and we do rely on our gazers to send us out into the world.
Yes. And we love you and thank you for it.
Thank you.
Right, Dave, I'm off to train with the Civil Defence Corps and start shooting some looters. What are you doing?
I'm going to try and build a nuclear bomb shelter out of 3 sandbags and a can of baked beans.
Jolly good.
Yes.
Blighty spirit. That'll get us through
We'll
it.
Be fine. We'll be fine.
A few third-degrry burns between friends.
I get a nice tan.
Yeah. Ooh, we haven't got any double-deckers or Snickers, though.
Well, let that be a lesson for you.
Sorry, everybody.
Okay. And I'm off to go buy some more double-deckers and Snickers bars.
Let it go, will you? Until next week, au reservoir.
Au reservoir.